Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. My name is George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education so that you can create your ultimate destiny. I'm so glad to be here with you today. I know we've had a lot of different travel going on. I've been in and out of town, and so I haven't had a chance to record as many podcasts as I'd like. And I am excited to be back on schedule. So today I want to talk to you, before we get going, actually, I want to give you the quote of the day out of the Daily Mastermind mobile app. It's a great quote because it fits the thought that I wanted to kind of go over with you here today. The quote is by Epictetus, a philosopher, and the quote goes like this: "No man is free who is not master of himself. No man is free, or woman is free, who is not master of himself." I think that's a great quote because I know from talking to a lot of you out at events, as well as people that we have in our mastermind and online, that a lot of you feel like there's something missing in your life. And a lot of you feel like, I'll just give you some examples. You might feel like something's missing in your life. You might feel that you're not living up to your potential. You maybe don't feel connected to people around you, or you feel like you've sort of failed in certain areas of your life. You also may feel that you're needing to make a change, like you're ready to do something different. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's business. But you start to blame others for your feelings in your life. And sometimes you even fall into that victim mode where you become a victim, or you start to justify and rationalize your situation. And that's the worst, when you start to accept your situation. But either way, you still feel incomplete and somehow unresolved. Maybe that's you. Maybe it's someone that you know. And you're just asking yourself, why can't I just make a change? Why can't I simply figure out what the problem is in my life? Or maybe you know what the problem is in your life, but you just can't seem to change it. You just can't seem to catch a break, or you just can't seem to make that change. Well, the truth is, I truly believe, and I think you do too, that you have the power inside you to fix it. You have the power to identify and create sustainable change in your life. More importantly, I truly believe that you know exactly what the problem is in your life. At least deep down you do. Or you know exactly what it's going to take to level up, or to go to the next level, or to fill in those gaps or things that are missing in your life. See, the answer is, for many of you, you're simply not living up to your fullest potential. And you know you're not. And because of that, you're feeling all these things that I just described to you. You know that you were meant for something more. Deep down, you know that you have the talent and the worth to make change, but you're not. Or deep down, you know that you could be doing so much more with your life, or you have a desire to do so much more with your life. But the answer is, you're simply not living up to your fullest potential, and you know it. That is the reason that things are not helping or happening in your life. But you've fallen victim to a bad mindset. Maybe you've become a victim of your circumstances. But either way, you've broken. You've broken promises to yourself. You've broken those commitments that you've made to follow through on things that you know you need to follow through on, whether it's in your exercise or diet or relationships or activities at work or business. Maybe it's projects at home. Maybe it's people that you have committed to. Maybe it's developing the talents that you know that you have, or you would like to pursue, but you haven't. Maybe you simply feel too overwhelmed to act, and that's understandable. There's a lot of pressure and stress and social anxiety that's going on. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe you have anxiety, or you have specific issues. I mean, I've had many of those same things in my life, and I know that it's not easy, and it's sometimes outside your control. The depression or anxiety or stress that you feel. And maybe you even just feel a little bit of panic and fear in creating change. But here, I want to tell you, it is time to make that change. It's time to recognize and identify what you can do to start living the life that you were meant to live. Because I truly believe, as I've said many, many times before, it's never too late to start living the life you are meant to live. So you may be asking yourself, George, that sounds easy to you to say it, but it's not. And so what is it that you need to do to make a change? How do you effectively just shake up the system and do something new? Well, I believe that number one, you need to spend some time, and you got to recognize the problem areas and the reasons that you have your circumstances. So it involves, number one, a level of understanding and clarity. And then number two, you need to create some strategies and habits that will pull you out. You need to create basically an action plan. And I know that sounds simple, but it's so true, because without an action plan, you need strategies and habits to pull you out of it, because your mind that put you there is not the mind that's going to get you out. Your circumstances are not going to pull you out, or they already would, right? So I want to cover today just a couple of ideas, maybe plant some seeds, give you some inspiration or some motivation even. But only you know your situation, and only you can draft up the perfect solution. But I believe that if you will follow these couple of steps of creating some understanding and clarity, and then creating an action plan with some of the ideas that I'm going to give you, that you can make a difference. So let's start with number one. What are the reasons? What is the reason that you are not living up to your potential? What is it that's keeping you from doing that? Well, first and foremost, you may be afraid. Fear is a real thing, but understand that fear lives in the mind. Fear is not it is not real, but it is real in your mind. So the key is to recognize the fear and make a decision not to settle for it. Identify the reasons for your fear. Is it a fear of judgment? Is it a fear of ridicule? Maybe failure? Or ironically enough, maybe it's a fear of success. You might fear having success or money. You might fear failure. You might be in one of those camps. But once you've identified and labeled your fear, labeling your fear is very empowering. It's something that allows you to kind of move forward. But fear is real, and you need to identify what it is that you're afraid of. The other thing is your mind is conditioned. Your mind has been ingrained and conditioned over time with negativity and doubt. I've talked before in our podcast about a concept called a scientific concept called neuroplasticity, which says that the neural pathways in your brain are formed. But it also says, and the good news is, neuroplasticity allows that no matter what your age or your circumstances, you can change your thoughts, you can change your habits at any point in your life. It just requires repetition and new programming. The more you do something different and you ingrain that in your mind, the more that you're going to be programmed to be that way. So just as much as you can be programmed to be negative or have anxiety or stress, you can program yourself the other way. It just takes commitment and some discipline. So your mind is conditioned. You need to do some things to change that. Also, your habits. Your habits are probably creating a life of autopilot. You probably on a day-to-day basis do the same things over and over and over. And so your habits have created who you are. The habits definitely have created who you are. So you don't, maybe you don't do activities that instill confidence, action, results, and success. You do things that empower your bad state or your circumstances. You're conditioned to come home and just rest, or feel like, have you told yourself, listen, I worked really hard today, I need a break, or I need to go back to bed for a little while, or I feel like I need a rest, or I need a vacation. Those are all things you just tell yourself. Those are conditions that you place in your mind. But maybe you're still spending time reflecting on bad experiences or situations or failures. Maybe you have sort of this daily ritual of reflecting on bad things that have happened in the past. The past is over. You need to stop doing that. You need to focus on new situations, new experiences. Maybe you're also eating bad or engaging in gossip, or you're surfing, the internet, or you're still finding value in scrolling through your news feed on social media. You've got to stop doing those things. Those are habits that create the opposite of living up to your potential. But you have to identify these behaviors so that you can change them. That's a real key. And then the other thing is, in addition to maybe fear or your conditioned mind or bad habits, let's be honest and recognize that one of the biggest factors is that you may have low self-esteem or confidence. Now, there's a difference between low self-worth, low self-esteem, and low confidence. They're two completely different things, but they're very tied, right? One involves creating and needing new experiences because your experiences have weakened your confidence. So you need to be able to focus on creating and needing new experience that validate and grow your confidence. Excuse me. The other is something that requires, and this is your low self-worth and low self-esteem. This requires patience and self-love and gratitude to grow your self-esteem, as opposed to creating new experiences of success and validation for confidence. So either way, it's important that you identify and understand the difference in what you need to target and to grow, what you need, whether it's to increase your self-esteem and confidence, or both. I hope that makes sense to you. So That first step of determining why you're not living up to your self-esteem, just a few things that come to mind is maybe it's fear, maybe it's your mind is conditioned or bad habits, maybe it's low self-esteem or low confidence, but it's very important that you identify those things. Okay, so now let's talk about strategies and ideas. I want to just give you a few. We don't have a lot of time today, but what are some strategies to start effectively creating and sustaining change that you need to live up to your full potential? You need to stop breaking promises and commitments to yourself first and foremost. So let's find a way to start keeping promises and commitments and activities that you know will empower you to create your life. So let's focus on things that are best for you by creating daily rituals. That's my biggest suggestion. Creating daily rituals is something that will help you to create more habits. It'll create better mindset. It'll create new experiences. It'll increase your confidence. It'll increase your self-esteem and your self-worth. And so, how do you create effective daily rituals? Without going into a lot of detail on this, I'm going to give you a few ideas. Number one, focus on daily rituals that are best for you. See, don't just accept the daily rituals that other people do to start their day or end their day. Find ones that are best for you. Maybe you like to read, maybe you listen to audios. Maybe you're not good at meditation, but you're good at guided meditation. Find the ones that are right for you and then find the time of day that's best for you. I've found that there is a better time. Sometimes people are more effective in the mornings and sometimes at night. And it's not just a matter of effectiveness, it's a matter of where you need to initiate the change, right? I'm definitely not a morning person, but I find if I don't do things in the morning, it's hard for me to get my day going. So I do my daily rituals in the morning and then some in the evening. And then set yourself up for success. Be prepared and be ready. Be committed. If you're going to work out in the morning, lay your clothes out. If you want to have more water, have water readily available for you. But be prepared and be ready. Also, make a decision and a commitment to follow through. Surround yourself with people that will support and empower you, like mentors and masterminds and colleagues, because those things will help you to stay committed to your daily rituals. And then your types of rituals you need to have to both affect your mind, your body, and your spirit. Your body does create emotional and physiological changes for your mind. So working out may not be something that excites you, but it may by default and automatically help change your mental state. And so if you know that, create it as a priority. So there are some examples of different things you could do for daily rituals. I've done that in earlier podcasts, whether it's motivation or inspiration or education. All those different areas create different mental, physical, and spiritual, changes in you. Affirmations, goal setting, audiobooks, ebooks, whether you're reading or listening to audios is very important, especially if you can get the right voice and tone to help motivate you. Meditation is a good one. Exercise, obviously, and nutrition and water. I can't emphasize enough that the type of nutrition that you feed yourself, let's be honest, your brain is a tool. But if you don't give it the right nutrition, your tool's not going to work on the optimal levels. It's like putting bad gas in your car. So these are all suggestions to create great, effective daily rituals. And I would just recommend, as we finish up here, to block out some time and create some space. When you block out time and create space, you've now prioritized all the stuff we've talked about. And then you will be set up for success. You will see some changes. So overall, I want to suggest that you just, in addition to creating and recognizing the reasons that you're not living up to your potential, you need to create these strategies and these daily rituals to help you to create change in your life. But be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself on an ongoing basis. Practice gratitude. Gratitude's a great way to overcome anxiety, depression, things like that. And overall, just take it one step at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. We've heard that before, and it's absolutely true. But I want to just summarize by saying, what the problem is in your life. You know what the problem is, but you also know what the solution is. You absolutely have what it takes to create the change. You have what it takes to create your ultimate life. Everything you need is inside of you. As one of my mentors and friends, Les Brown, has said many times, you have greatness within you. I believe you do, and so should you. You should believe that because we were all created with the same greatness inside of us. So let's go ahead and make a declaration and a commitment to ourselves today to make a change. Let's just recognize and identify that we know exactly what it takes to create, what's needed in our life, and we can go create that change. So let's make a decision to start living the life you are meant to live. And for those of you that are new, if there's some great value you've received out of this or some content and ideas, I'd encourage you to share it with other people, not only to promote and expand the podcast that we have here to help others, but also it helps you to effectively learn when you teach. When you teach, you will learn. And so that's my message for today. Let's create some change in our lives. My name is George Wright III. This has been the Daily Mastermind. Have an amazing day.